my art friends, I'm back in my studio and I wanted to show you the difference between the titanium whites, the zinc whites and the transparent whites. I've made this background for my class Getting Started with Cold Wax Medium because I noticed that many of the artists use the cold wax to create textures, but there are so many other techniques that you can use. Amongst them is the glazing. Glazing is making a very thin layer of paint over your textured background. It often unifies the painting and it gives a beautiful glow. But today we're not going to talk about the glazing, we're going to talk about the whites and their different effects in layering. Let's start with the titanium white. Titanium white is a very opaque white, so that means that it will cover your part in your painting. Nothing will shine through. And as you can see here, I did this stencil and it's still shining through, even though I've put several layers of transparent paint over it. So it is a very strong white. Let's see what that does when we glaze over it. You can see that you cover up. I haven't put any wax in this, but it's just to show you how it covers up. And even if you put some cold wax in it, it could be fun. You will see that it's still very opaque. And you see the other layers are not shining through. So if you want to have bright highlights and depth in your painting, it's good to use the titanium white. The other whites are a bit more subtle. Zinc white is in between the titanium and the transparent white. I'll show you, it's more transparent than the zinc white. And it's often soft, it gives a softer effect. It's still white. I don't really use it a lot because I always think it gives a bit of a milky color to milky feeling to the color, which I don't really like, or I prefer to create in another way. And then we have the zinc white with the it's even more transparent with the cold wax medium. And then I have this transparent white from Rembrandt. I will see what that gives. It must be very transparent. You see, it's even more transparent than the zinc white. And this red circle is shining beautifully through. This one I sometimes use. But I use the titanium the most. Titanium white, zinc white and transparent white. Let's mix in some color. I've taken a transparent orange. Which we will mix with the titanium white. And just for me, I will mix in some cold wax, if not, it doesn't feel the same. So this is the titanium with the color, very opaque, it covers everything, which is good to know. If you have parts that you don't like, you can cover them up. Then we do the zinc white with a bit of orange, transparent orange. It's more transparent. But since I use a lot of glazes, it's good to know what the transparent white will do when mixing into a color. So this is the transparent white. It's even more transparent, you see? Oh, it's beautiful. And you still see everything shining through. I think I will take that out more often. You see a big difference between the transparent. The zinc is transparent, but still it's covering up a bit of the background, and this one is very opaque. You know, if I strip, maybe if I do a thinner layer, it is almost the same. It's a bit stronger in orange. So keep in mind that as soon as you mix in titanium white in a transparent color, it becomes opaque, and you will cover up all your beautiful textures that are underneath. Another thing that I wanted to show you is if you mix it with opaque paint. Here I've taken an opaque cadmium red. If you don't know the opaqueness or the transparency of your colors, go back to my one of my videos, YouTube videos, and do the exercise. It's really, really important if you work in layers to know whether your colors are transparent or opaque. This is the cadmium red opaque. Well, we'll know what happens if we put it in the titanium. It will stay opaque. So we'll put that here. You see, it covers everything up. Then it's interesting to see what it does with the zinc white. Yeah. You see, the red is so opaque that it doesn't make a real difference. This is a bit brighter and fresh. This is a bit dull. And then take the opaque red with the transparent white. And let's see. You see, that's beautiful, but it's maybe also because I'm working on this part, which I already used with the transparent. You'll see here. It is a bit transparent. Wait, we'll make some more. So the red with the transparent white is still a bit opaque, but less opaque than these two. And it's fun to see how different it is if you do a glaze on a dry background, a dark background, and on the one that has already the white on it. We'll glaze over the white. And this is how you get really, really nice subtle color changes. So titanium white and opaque red, zinc white with the cadmium red, and transparent white with the cadmium red. And this is glazed over an already wet transparent layer. And this is a technique I use a lot. Glaze over a light white layer. I might be able to show you on another work. It's not dry yet, it's just the background that started which I started to play. And I will probably look for a more darker color, like the asphaltum, which I use a lot. I mix in a bit of cold wax Don't need that much, I think. And I mix in some gel, some solvent-free gel or some Galgite light. Okay, I will do a glaze. Although this is not about glazing, I will do another video about glazing. But this is just glazing over titanium white, which I used in this background. And you will see it is beautifully, it shines beautifully through. So you won't lose your lights, you will just unify the painting. And you don't have to do it everywhere, just parts of it. I will use a bit of transparent orange. It always gives depth to the painting. And I will mix in some cool wax. And some gel. But maybe it's also because it's not dry yet. So I will do some orange as well, just to see what the effect is, although I'm afraid you see how beautifully the white shines through. This was white and it's still beautifully light, but it's another, it changes in color. Here you can see it as well. You can see it more with the orange than with the asphaltum on this one. Look how beautifully the color changes. You really need your darks in your painting. Okay, and since this is just an exercise to show you, what I also can do is put some titanium white over the glaze when it's still wet. You will see that is a different effect than if you mix it on your palette. Let me show you. So this is the cold wax with the titanium white. And we're going to drag it in a wet layer and see what happens. So you're picking up the color. And mixing really lovely with the colors. So what happens if we do that with the transparent white? See, it's very transparent and it just disappears. It's funny. You see, you don't even see it. You hardly see it. It just gives a bit of a misty feeling to it. So you can see that by doing all these exercises or tests or whatever they're called, I always love them, and that's how I discover things, is that if you go over with the titanium white over your red layer, it's more beautiful than if you just mix, I'll show you, white, titanium white, and if you mix it already on the palette, it becomes opaque. And it's a completely different effect. So here we mix in the titanium white with cold wax on a wet layer here as well. So you can see all those subtle color changes. And if we mix it white with the orange on the palette, it will be completely different. Let's do it here, and you will see it's not as nice. You don't have any color shifts. It's just a light orange, which can be nice too, because we sometimes need some opaque parts, but this is way more subtle and way more beautiful. At least that's what I think. I already see a vase of flowers appearing, and I often see faces of or flowers in my paintings. I'm starting to love this background. I hope this tutorial was helpful to you. So I showed you the difference between the titanium white, the zinc and the transparent, and the different ways you can use it. On a direct glaze, so the glaze I showed you here, this one and this one, I think the transparent white is beautiful because it shines through. It gives a milky feeling, that's true, but you can use it, if you don't use it everywhere, it's quite nice. But you can see if you mix it with the other colors, then I prefer the titanium white because it mixes beautifully with the underlying layer, which was still wet. And this is just milky, white, dirty. I don't like it. So that's good to know. If this video was helpful to you, please like it below, subscribe to my channel, and I would appreciate it if you share it with your friends that paint in cold wax and oils as well, and even the ones that paint in acrylics, because I'm exploring the cold wax medium for acrylics and you can get really similar effects with the power wax. Don't forget that I have a free course on painting with cold wax medium on my website, and I will put the link below this video. I have another class which is called Getting Started with Cold Wax Medium, in which I show you all the tools and the techniques you can use when you're painting with cold wax medium. So like I said, not only the texture making, but a lot of other techniques as well. Okay, I hope to see you back into my studio. Bye for now.